really the limit. We might actually see A10 bust out the Ashe once again if we end up going to a map like Downtown. Or, hey, maybe even Hanger Tanner is in for phase 2 this time around, and he is showing the Ashe at least in spawn, so I'm personally very excited.
Very interesting move, as A10 was known as arguably the best player on phase 2 throughout those weeks, and we were definitely excited to see him play, but Tanner is a rightful replacement, also very well known for his DPS play. So let's see how this Ashe is going to work. We've seen Ashe become a little bit more valuable as the season goes on, getting those pot shots in, Bob, the TNT damage, and all. So a lot of discord in it too with the back line, but right now the only discord that we're seeing is coming in from Bermuda as they're going to start things off with First Blood and this Bastion comp.
Oh, rip left. That's a feels bad. When your Mercy goes down first, you know the fight is over. There is no way to sustain against a team who has both of their supports still up. And something to note here, Bermuda well known for swapping out Guru and Shu interchangeably. This time around, Guru on the Diva, the hero that Shu usually picks up. Guru more known as a Zarya player. So far, doing really well, getting up in Tanner's face, keeping him from being able to leverage that long distance damage, but not in mech right now. He needs to get back in really quickly.
Yes, the ultimate weapon's going to stick on to this Bastion with this bunker comp. You've got the immortality field to keep them all alive. We saw that get used a little earlier. Guru's going to be able to get back into that mech, but right now, phase 2 needing to decide how they actually want to approach this point. Using the melee from Pika to give them a little bit of cover while they try to rotate, but really, Bermuda is going to try to respond at the same time. Tanner seeing that opening pick is going to be really, really nice. There is no immortality field available. Pika were able to take it out. Sox getting another kill. Phase 2, this is the intent that they said they were looking for throughout the series last week. They were able to find on Paris last week, but I'm so happy to see, especially with a hammer kill, that they're starting off with that intent. What's more intentional than a hammer kill, my friend?
Oh, nothing. You gotta get up close. You gotta smell the fear in your opponent's breath. That's what really makes those hammer kills worthwhile, or so I'm told. Bermuda here, running with that Bastion double main tank composition. Also worth noting that Carter is on the Orisa of all heroes. Hey, she shoots quite a few bullets, so you might as well make usage of those amazing mechanics. But Bermuda might have a hard time getting back into your phase 2. Have so many ways to lane them away between the Molten Core and the wall.
And so we're seeing Smolders go down. The Battle Bongo's not going to help Bermuda all that much. That is the Superchargers. That's one of the most effective ultimates that Bermuda have to push phase 2 away from this point. But there is one on the other side as well. And phase 2 are going to come out of this with all 6 after the res. Bermuda, though, having the ultimates potentially come back and take this next round.
Oh, definitely. Guru can get a lot of space with a bomb. Just allow Bermuda to plow through, but it's going to be easier said than done when you're missing your key Speedy Frog. Ajax falling prey to Tanner's shotgun once again. This is the second time now, and Bermuda finding that their early lead slowly slipping away from them as phase 2 eclipsing them in terms of percentage. And Narian ult use. Tanner's got Bob again. He's definitely going to do a bit more than just something, especially if you throw the Blizzard out in coordination. Stop up Bermuda in their tracks, allow them to take a bunch of damage.
It's got to be one of the slower games we've seen in a very long time. Shatter comes through after the Bob does as well. Bermuda finally finding value out of their cooldowns. Actually, they're going to find value off of that Bastion as well, getting 2 picks. It's something that you see a lot with these Bastion bunkers. Once the one pick goes, everyone else is kind of like, oh, it's going to be almost impossible to get on this bunker with 6 people, without 6 people.
Exactly. That's the strength and weakness of bunker. It's in the name. You don't move a ton. Once you're set up, you're so incredibly strong and fortified, but getting to that point is where a lot of teams trip up. Pika throws up the wall, it gets mowed down almost immediately. The wall's not nearly as strong as it was in the past with May's recent nerf. They're now backing up onto the objective. They still have a ton more ultimates to use, but ultimate weapon misses the shield. Ooh, that was a close one.
Yeah, got to reposition. Jane going to start this off with First Blood on Tanner, and so what this gives Bermuda is just a distinct advantage, but phase 2 are going to go walk right in there. Sox getting the kill on the ultimate weapon, but that probably won't be enough. It's actually phase 2 were able to flip the point in the middle of that engagement, so they're all actually using casualties right now. What seems like a Bermuda needs to make a turn into a possible phase 2 comeback, especially if you're going to paint the opposing team with that much purple. They get the res off of one of the most important members to get that res off of. Dan's is going to be able to use the supercharger, but not for long, as he's going to go down. We've got a Doofus on the field right now as well. Bermuda going to be able to flip the point. Crazy last skirmish, because the thing about this round round has been, there hasn't been a ton of ultimates just in general until right here, right now, and Bermuda is finding themselves on top of this fight.
Third time Ajax taken down by Tanner, but he's been zoned so far away from the point. Overtime now burning down, but it's going to be Sox on the Doomfist coming back in here desperately trying to win things back, and it's a 3v4. 3v3.
Oh my goodness. Bermuda was on top of that fight, but you've got to clean it up. Phase 2 is going to be taking advantage of the fact that Bermuda's focus fire has not been super strong so far this round. So Phase 2 coming right back onto the point, showing Bermuda who's boss, and we're going to be at 99-99, and these kills have actually been trees for the time being, as we've got one for Ajax and one with Sox coming up.
Oh, and Sox's Doomfist so strong right now that one hit potential is what you need in these overtime moments. Ultimate Web trying desperately to wear him down, wear anybody down. Bermuda searching for the frags, but Phase 2 holding strong, and slowly Bermuda losing their man advantage.
But right in the nick of time, Tanner on this Tracer going to be able to get the kills in. But now Phase 2 have to do what Bermuda were unable to do, which is clean up that point. If that self-destruct were able to hit anybody, this fight would continue to go on as they do finally flip the point. Overtime Wick is going to end, and Phase 2 has a very nice comeback victory here on Mecha Base. And the crazy thing is, the reason for that stutter is just thinking about the fact that Bermuda had a 1 or 2 man advantage there. Ultimate Web got a couple kills, but they could not finish it off in the end. Why?
I mean, Sox is demolishing you on this Doomfist. I believe he got 3 fist kills or so in that overtime game, and in the chaos and disruption of those moments, of those brawls, it's so hard to, you know, spend your resource, your mental energy to be focusing on this Doomfist flying all over the place when there's so many other things to be worrying about. Where are the sources of the healing coming from? Are there any tanks still left alive? Has the D.Va been demeched yet? Bermuda just not really able to finish their plate.
And so Bermuda going to try to join the Happy Plate Club a little bit later on in this round, but first they have to get there as Phase 2 going to be walking out with Sox on the Thera. This has been a look that Phase 2 has struggled with in the past, as Sox on the Thera has been taken advantage of in a previous matchup. See if Bermuda can be able to do the same thing, or if Sox is going to be able to level up and push Bermuda exactly where they need to be, because the thing about Thera in the air, though, is that it's going to be very vulnerable to the Bastion on the ground if the Thera keeps putting themselves in a position to be taken advantage of. And that is something that Sox has done in the past. But right now, the movement has actually been quite good for Sox in the air. So good, in fact, he's only going to be 4% away from Barrage. Bermuda are able to flip the point, but Phase 2 are going to be coming in to some ultimates that might help their cause on the next stage.
Yeah, you come out and Bermuda's running that double main tank Bastion look again, and you kind of can just have to just shake your head and see what you can make of it, because Pharah is not a terrible hero against Bastion, but when you have to get through 2 fields plus Pete the Demon's immortality field, that is too high of a task for a single Pharah. So that's why you have Pika now on the Hanzo as well for extra shield break.
The amplification matrix is going to be released around that Pete the Demon. Everyone's going to be doing extra damage, but the Rocket Barrage comes through. 3 kills. They had no clue where this Pharaoh was in the air. They take advantage of that. Phase 2 flips the point.
Rock'em, sock'em, Pharah right there. Absolutely catching Bermuda with their pants down. This is... You have 2 shields, man. You can use one of them to cover the back, but Phase 2, we'll give the credit to Sox. He played that expertly, and staying on a hero that many others would have just swapped off in the face of that double main tank, you know, paid off in the end. However, Phase 2 need to maintain control of this point once again. They did really well on Hangar Phase, but they don't really have any ultimates besides this Valkyrie to help them.
Something that Sox can definitely take advantage of is being underestimated. Maybe not taking that Pharaoh as seriously in the air, like arguably I was a little earlier in that call, right? So Sox takes advantage of being underestimated. That's a wonderful thing to do if you're Phase 2 in this situation. Tanner going to land that GNT, but right now Phase 2 is still in control. Very interesting thing about these 2 teams so far is they've been waiting a really long time to actually engage, and if they continue this stance, the team that owns the point will develop quite the lead, as they're actually seeing right now.
Yeah, Bermuda swapping onto this DPS comp, this 2-2-2, does have a lot of one-hit potential, especially with Carter's Widowmaker, but you have to be able to land those shots. The tanks can really only run interference here in waiting for their DPS to get those ultimates, to get those kills, and right now Bermuda has not been able to find that. Ultimate Web is going to swap onto the Genji, but in the meantime, Carter gets taken down by his counterpart Tanner once again.
Yeah, so Tanner getting Ajax a couple of times. Tanner is the one that that has the hot hand, the one you want to have the hot hand right now. So I'm going to be developing another barrage, and just because of the last one, whatever barrage comes through is going to put Bermuda on the back foot. But right now, there's been a whole lot of nothing happening in between these rounds. Asok's going to get another pick. Ultimate Web, though, going to finally get one in return, potentially give Bermuda an opportunity to actually get on to the objective as we've entered overtime. Right now, a little bit more for phase 2. The Rocket Barrage needs to get this Mercy, but it does not, as Ultimate Web is going to take advantage of Asok staying still in the air. Bermuda should be able to win this phase 2. You're going to have to try again another time, but this neutral game has been very interesting. It's been, again, a whole lot of nothing and then everything at once.
Exactly. I mean, if you can hold your opponents at bay with just your pure mechanical skill, finding those headshots, then you probably don't really need to use ultimates until they get right on top of the point. But now phase 2, they know they only need one fight, so they're going to go for a bit more consistency here, swapping over to that Onagos.
Kane gets a 6-man pile drive, I believe. This is starting off really well for Bermuda. Ultimate Web going to get another first blood on this Genji. The current kill going the other way. A deflect kill on to the Siva is going to help Bermuda's cause to hold on to the point a little while longer. Ultimate Web going to get so close, and he is going to get to that Dragon Blade. And looking at what phase 2 have, they've got nothing to try to attack this point. They're in one-fight territory. So the single Dragon Blade and the self-destruct, if it's going to be available after Guru gets back into the mech, might be enough.
Yeah, and here's the scary thing. Ultimate Web is a great Genji, and in this case, he doesn't need to wipe the team. He only needs one kill, and then that's over for phase 2's chances here. Bermuda will tie things up. Kendo does get swept.
And so he's looking for his first victim, and he does find the Brig, and a nice biotic grenade, too, is going to keep everyone vulnerable on phase 2. Ultimate Web finding those kills, and he's going to find the round for Bermuda. We're tied up 1-1, and the crazy thing is, for both of these rounds, they've both gone to 199. And it's funny, usually when we see 199, we're expecting action upon action, but that really hasn't been the case.
No, these fights have been completely unpredictable. We've gotten so used to this goat stance, right? Do they have grab? Do they have shatter? Do you have transcendence to respond? But now when we have DPS back on the field, and especially with these two teams, anything can happen. I really liked Bermuda's swap off of the double main tank, putting Chain onto the Hammond, because the way that Bermuda opened up that last fight was by getting the kill in the backline, getting the kill onto Nishik and cutting the the string of healing to the DPS and tanks. Bermuda have shown good flexibility, not staying too stubborn. They want to give the Bastion comp another shot here in Sanctuary, but if phase 2 turn the dial up, they're going to know how to respond.
Phase 2 have dealt with this Bastion comp mostly over the last couple of rounds with Ultimate Web switched over to Genji, the DLC in Overwatch, that we haven't seen in forever, but was effective in that last round on Downtown. So we're here on Sanctuary now. Phase 2 and Bermuda are going to find each other on the objective. They're going to have a little bit of a drum start versus Tanner going to open things up once again with the kill. Tanner's had definitely a hot hand on this Ash, but it doesn't seem quite enough to put them over the edge. The round, especially the last round that we could just see, as Bermuda going to get closer and closer to those ultimates, but looking on the other side, one of them is going to be closer.
Yeah, Tanner.
And Tanner has that.
That's always going to be a good thing for phase 2, who capture the point first, but Tanner has definitely been showing up on this Ash, and Sox as well. Hanzo with the ultimate nearly in hand. One of the disadvantages you have with phase 2's comp is no Lucio, so Bermuda's most likely always going to get to that point first. It's how you take that space back that phase 2 has struggled with, because despite all of the picks that Tanner has gotten, if you don't have a tank body to hold down that space, you're not really going to get anywhere in an objective focused game.
Is Shane going to get some of the very sundries off of the field? You get that a lot with these teams. Bermuda now going to use the amplification to try to get back onto the point. Bob's going to make it a little bit harder. She's going to push the Siva into the air. There's actually a lot of damage going on to Bermuda, who have to invest the immortality field to keep everyone alive, and I'm so glad they did, because Ultimate Web is going to get 2 kills, but Sox on the other side going to get 2 of their own, and with this res, phase 2 are going to maintain a numbers advantage. If they're able to clean this point up, they will continue to hold on to it, as Bermuda are going to seize this space. Phase 2 are going to continue owning this point, exceeding 50%.
Beautiful crossfire setup by phase 2. How often in your ranked games do you have a Hanzo and a Widowmaker both standing behind the Rhine Shield, shooting in the same direction. This is the power of the crossfire. Bermuda had no idea where Sox was launching that Dragon Strike from, and boy, did they feast tonight. However, ultimates are now coming online for Bermuda. That all-important tank mode could easily burn through phase 2.
Can you feel the feast tonight? The ultimate weapon, he's going to try to do some damage onto the rest of phase 2. The amplification matrix is definitely going to help out, but they have to make contact. And right now, looking at phase 2's health, they're not making a ton of contact. Phase 2 right now are in one-fight territory, so if they're able to take this round, they're going to take the map. And phase 2 are pushing Bermuda to the brink right now, as Vika going to use the Molten Core to try to take a lot more of the field away. Ultimate Weapon, though, is not going to get zoned enough. Really good sleep, though, coming in from Dishin, who I think is one of those players on phase 2 who can have star-making breakout game in this one, as Bermuda struggling right now to try to maintain any sort of presence on it. At the point, you got Chain on that Reinhardt doing it. Tanner's going to get pulled by that hold, and Ultimate Web going to get 3 kills. Bermuda, though, not going to get on at the point proper because phase 2 getting kills of their own.
I got one Orisa and one Pointy Boy. Sox has yet another Dragon Strike. He just used it to open the fight. This is insane. Bermuda now running out of bodies, running out of ultimates, and hope to take this first control round. Sox, nobody can touch him. Guru's about to get to next, and when he does, it will be game over, map over for Bermuda.
So phase 2 going to break the 199 curse by sweeping Bermuda on that last round, 100-0. Phase 2 going to go up 1-0 in terms of map score, and that's a really big deal, especially between these two teams, because they potentially could be fighting to not be in relegation for next season, and every map win counts in this situation, especially against teams that are close to you in those standings. So phase 2 have the momentum going into Assault against Bermuda, but Bermuda definitely still have some time to right the ship.
Oh yeah, Bermuda, after I was just praising them for not being too stubborn on downtown, staying with the double main tank Bastion look all the way into Sanctuary, even at a 0.99 potential fight. You know, the strength of the double main tank is, well, you got 2 main tanks and you got 2 shields. You can protect that Bastion. You can pump out so much damage that it's really, you know, difficult short of some kind of insane dive to dislodge that bunker. But you need some space to bunker down first. Bermuda lost that initial battle, and after they weren't able to engage the next 3 or 4 fights, it's definitely time to change, man. You gotta change, because all the ultimates in the world not gonna help you out if you don't get anything for them. Bermuda just had no pushing power. They had a single DPS, which, you know, Bastion, one of the best at in terms of raw damage, but you are not going to have the same kind of angles that you would have, say, running that Ashe Hanzo that phase 2 showed. And in the end, the ability to use the positioning and the environment, you know, worked out for phase 2, and they're able to create advantages that the pure damage from Bermuda wasn't able to overcome.
This was an interesting game. We don't really see games like this very often, where there's just so much waiting in between each engagement. And I think both teams in the past have struggled with everyone going at once, right? You'll get some people popping off over here trying to be a hero, and then the rest of the team is dead while you get a couple kills, right? So they might have been trying to avoid that a little bit more during this game than others, but I think they might have gone onto the other side of that equation, where I think they're taking a little bit too much time, where when you give your opponent that time, they're also getting that time as well to kind of figure out what they're doing. So if you're going to take the time, make sure you invest in it appropriately. And I'm not sure Bermuda or phase 2 really did that in these matchups. I know that's how bunker versus, you know, bunker comps can go. You've got Ashe, you've got a lot of long distance damage poking from each other, but you got to make a decision at some point, and I just don't think that happened enough during those rounds with Bermuda. Phase 2, though, getting that map win is a really big deal for them, like we said, in terms of the playoffs, in terms of not getting relegated. You want to take these victories, especially against teams who are 0-2 with you, because we could remember how split apart the standings were. But going into Assault, Bermuda might have an opportunity now to really show their stuff.
Yeah, this could be a mad opportunity for Bermuda. Really the only team we've seen in North America so far that can run Clockwork Comp very successfully. Of course, Volskaya is a different map from Paris, where we saw Bermuda wield that clock very expertly. So again, it's going to all depend on what the two teams decide to bring out. Comps, you know, are good, bad on paper according to the meta and what heroes are really strong, but you also have to take a look at how practiced this team is with this specific comp. Are the players comfortable on these heroes? Does it work against your opponent's composition? These are all things that take precedence over just, hey, Clockwork is some great, stinky, delicious cheese. We should just run it, right? So Volskaya, we've seen a lot of different looks. Doomfist is definitely a possibility here, though I doubt Sox would be bringing out the Doomfist a la speedily. But again, that bunker seems to really be serving both of these teams well. So going to be expecting potentially some Orisa. Nope, looks like phase 2 going with the tried and true GOATS comp with A10 back in the lineup. A10 Zarya, man. You could really ask for almost no better.
I've been saying it since he was in Europe, to be completely honest with you. I remember a little while ago, some of our former BGG compatriots were casting trials, and A10 was a name that they all mentioned could potentially become a star, and I totally believe them, especially throughout this Contender season, and it was happening back then. The guy is incredibly consistent and has that playmaking potential we saw on BTS, but now that they have, another player that can play that DPS as well, this gives them some versatility that they didn't really come into this game with as well. It's going to be taken very, very low and then get moved off by Guru, and looking over at what Bermuda is running, this is what I like to see from Bermuda. This is the type of comp that I look at Bermuda and say, you're going to control the tempo, you're going to find the success, and that's exactly what we're going to see right now.
Yep, with the GOATS comp, you do work best when you're pressuring the objective, when you're working around the objective as that single death ball. But Bermuda running this ball comp, triple DPS, it's all about search and destroy, divide and conquer. You saw the way that Ultimate Web got on top of A10 in his hiding hole, forced him out, flushed him into the sightline of the rest of his team, who then took him down. This is a really dangerous composition to run against. And A10 now actually going to swap onto the Sombra. Really interesting, pays off here, manages to get the kill onto Ultima Web. But with Sombra, you really want some time to build up to that EMP, and getting pressured on point B already, phase 2 needs to work very quickly.
We've seen this in the past where teams continue running the Pharah, continue running the Wrecking Ball into second because of how close they are to their ultimate. Most of the time, it doesn't work out. So let's see if history is going to change here for Bermuda, as the EMP's barrage can be very brutal for phase 2, especially since they're so far behind in ultimate charge. A10 only 45% on that EMP. The EMP goes through Guru, not quite at that rocket barrage, so the timing could have been a little bit better there, as Carter maybe found an opportunity to get a pick, and they do find Delicio, but his fault, this might not be enough for Bermuda to try to take the point. Taking down the Stout 5v5 on advantage going towards phase 2, as the defense matrix is going to save a lot of the rocket barrage from the rest of phase 2, and Guru going to be taken down. And once again, history does repeat itself going into this point. Just because you have ultimates isn't necessarily the best deal, especially if phase 2 were already so far behind in their ultimate charge.
Yeah, Pika playing a hero in that last fight, able to get the kill and gobble up the entire rocket barrage. Phase 2 clinging on to this defense with their fingernails, all very, very close. If the timing had just been a little bit better for Bermuda, they could potentially have wiped the team in one fell swoop. That's the power of EMP into barrage. But as it stands, the Pharah tried to dive into the backline, take Nishik down, just took too long to find those frags. So we're going to see the swap onto something a little bit more familiar. Now in the lineup for Chain. He has a really good ball. His Reinhardt also very good. And that's a massive pick. They have a small window, 10 seconds now to engage before the EMP comes back.
And it's really big for Bermuda because they reset all of their ultimates after switching after that last engage. So Carter actually almost already had another EMP that's going to be really good to counter an EMP that A10 has. The A10 was not hacked. It's out there, the only hit is left, and A10, so Jan is going to be taken down. Some questionable team play at the beginning of that from phase 2, and Nishik, though, going to get 2 kills. I guess you're not going to be healing your friends when they're already starting to die. Let's go ahead and get some damage, and there's Nishik going to get 2 kills and push Bermuda away.
Battle Granny, one of my favorite types. And Bermuda, they swapped everything. They know they don't really have any ultimates, but we got an EMP, and Carter is the kind of Sombra where you can expect that there will be an EMP online nearly every fight. So why not see if we can get something done, see if we can take phase 2 off guard, control the tempo of these fights. And I love to see this proactivity from Bermuda. Didn't work out though, so now they got to grind through and get those ultimates the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, they got that pick. They gave themselves a slight advantage going into the objective, and phase 2 came back with some kills from their Ana, and so they're going to try one more time. He's the demon going to be the closest to that ultimate. Unsafe might be able to get through Shatter. That he does. popping all the way up to 99%. He has charge shatter, so if he can even get the nano, this could be a really good opening for Bermuda to give their Reinhardt so much more extra health and taking it. That's exactly what they're going to do. He's even going to be using that nano, but was CC'd at the beginning of this. He's actually going to be taking a ton of damage, but Carter, though, on the other side, is going to be pushing damage of his own, taking him out of the game for phase 2. 3 casualties now for them. Bermuda have a wide open point for themselves right now, at least to get 2 ticks. Now the question is, are they going to be able to cap if phase 2 come back and try to stall?
I think it's likely. You got EMP, you got grab first, and you don't even need EMP. That's just sprinkling on top. Bermuda able to complete full sky off, some backs of some really good reactive plays, and kudos to phase 2 as well. They were sensing, they were like, yo, I bet he's got shatter. We're going to take the first move. They nano dance. He goes in hard and hot, but then Bermuda get the counter shatter. 3 men down. They react, they rotate back, and phase 2 just ran out of ultimates at that point.
Yep, and then they started focusing on to try to take him down during the nano, but who was peppering in damage from behind? Who weren't you looking at? It was the Sombra in the back line. So phase 2 and Bermuda are going to switch sides. 3 minutes and 17 seconds for Bermuda in their time bank. That's pretty good for them. Let's see if phase 2 are going to be able to complete. They have to if they want to stay in at this map and potentially maintain their lead in terms of map score. So phase 2 on the offense, I really want to see them run something other than goats. Right now, Dance is on the Hammond, so they're thinking about it. A10 we know can flex onto some other characters, but his Zarya is by far his best in his pool, so let's see if that's why he's in there, and if phase 2 are going to continue running that comp that honestly Bermuda were able to take advantage of.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. If Pika, this is something that we've actually seen from many teams before, triple support with an auto. We haven't seen the Baptiste, it's been with a Bermuda in the past, but a Lucio in the past, but never say never. This would certainly be a very interesting attacking composition. Bermuda aren't going to be trying anything too crazy. They got Carter on the Sombra, Ultima Wep on the Ana, interestingly, and they're actually running this same triple DPS that we're positing phase 2 might consider. Yep. Looks like they're just going to go with it. It's the triple debate, man.
Triple debate for triple tank and triple support. So phase 2 going to be coming out with regular old goats here on the attacking side. Bermuda going to have that Sombra and that Winston along with the Ana to get that Winston a little bit more tanky. In your phase a little bit more. He can get nano, then he can primal rage, and that was going to be on point for so long. As good tracking coming in from A10. That's why we know he's so good. That tracking is just like Zarya, right? So phase 2 now going to start things off with an opening kill on to Carter. 2 kills now for phase 2. This should be easy pickings just like last time, and a double boom kill from a Pika. That's a nice way to get that cherry on top if you're phase 2, and they are also going to be winning this perspective on the first fight.
Oh man, all the floaties in the world not going to save you from the icy depths of the ocean. Phase 2 taking this point in the very first fight. Not even really a fight, more of a nudge, I would say. And Bermuda unable to really get anything going, not even really any ultimates to speak of. If you're going to be running this triple support, you want to get nano as fast as possible. That's going to be one of those ultimates that helps push your opponents away. They will have primal in case of emergencies.
Yes, not using that rally is really nice for phase 2 to be able to get onto the objective with that extra armor. It's going to mitigate a lot of the damage coming in for Bermuda, who are lagging behind in those ultimates coming into the place that have caught up now that they're here. Carter with the CMP, if things get a little squirrely after this, could use the attention. White phase 2 off of the map, but right now Carter deciding to hold on to his cleared Ajax, showing up on the kill feed. Bermuda not needing the EMP in this situation, just being able to hold on to that is going to give them so much more versatility in the future here on both sides.
Yeah, and you can threaten that EMP whenever phase 2 take a step forward. They always got to be thinking if there's a Sombra right behind them. So excellent ultimate usage right here from Bermuda, just using that single primal rage. And now is actually going to swap onto the Rhine as well. Keep it so that Dance has to at least debate him into dropping his shield before getting that shatter down. Phase 2, though, not going to be feeling too discouraged. They have plenty of time, over 5.5 minutes, and Nijik will have the Transcendence for whatever Bermuda throws their way. He has been fragging out of his mind so far, whether on Zenyatta or Ana. Really impressive.
Yep, I completely agree. Is Bermuda going to be trying to use this after the Graviton Surge, trying to meter out their ultimates? I like the idea because they saw the grab, and Nijik's going to go ahead and use the Transcendence, and now that's not going to be available. One, because he's dead, and two, because EMP is also still available for a Carter. So all they needed was the grab. Some stuff happened to phase 2. I think they kind of just were like expecting more of a fight in that situation, but they just get picked off instead.
You never expect the solo grab, but good, very decisive decision made by Guru, and that kind of seems like, and
honestly, Nijik there.
and Nijik there, but like, hey, sometimes all you need is that single kill, and when you have multiple threats, you have Nano, and you still have EMP, it's totally worth it to invest grab to win a fight. Phase 2 now, really going to be feeling bad about throwing that Transcendence in, but feeling better after that feeling very discouraged after that first pick.
Contenders now coming in from phase 2, feeling like they absolutely need to use it in this situation. They're down on Emperor. Bermuda now going to be losing. Okay, though, Agent going to be trying him down. Carter trying to burst down the Zarya. Agent is going to go back to spawn, and Bermuda now coming up with the picks they need to potentially defend once more, and they do. Phase 2 are going to have to attack again, but they're still a little less than a minute ahead of Bermuda. Bermuda still have so much time that they need to take off the clock, and apparently they don't need EMP to do it.
Apparently not. That's the one ultimate we haven't seen pop yet in Bermuda's arsenal, and really questionable grab. Maybe weird ultimate choice is Contagious, but first a really unfortunate Transcendence from Nijik that does nothing against that charge, and then A10 deciding to invest the grab after Sox had already died. I mean, they still have plenty of time and they're their attackers, but they're running out of options.
I like this bomb that flips it out down there, even though everyone was safe from it, but now they're gonna, the overshields are going to deplete for Bermuda. This is a nice opening for phase 2. They also have an ultimate advantage, so if they want to take the point within the next 30 seconds, now is the time to do it. It's gonna be a while if they don't do it right here and right now. Carter, though, has that EMP. They're gonna use the Transcendence to start things off. It's gonna open up the world to the EMP. Lep getting hacked means that he's not gonna be able to sound barrier, and I'm just listing off all of the reasons why you don't want a Transcendence in that situation, as Bermuda are able to make that fight last a full minute. 3 minutes left for phase 2.
Nobody saw that, Guru. Oh man, Boop. Well, kudos to Nijik for getting Transcendence again so quickly, but then tossing it into the garbage like that. I understand wanting to use the Transcendence, all of that, free healing essentially to usher your team forward. You don't have to worry about healing Dance because he's got 300 HPS. But then you have to remember, Nano, Anti-Nade can come in, EMP can come in, so many factors.
Umte, though, potentially in a gravity tragedy, that's where he's going to find himself jumping off, and by the time he hits the ground, he's already at half health. And another invested Trans into this fight, even though there are only 4 members available for Bermuda. Maybe it might have been nice to wait a little bit longer. Ultimate Left, though, unable to get that ult off. Phase 2, though, pushing Bermuda off the objective. This is the best thing they've had so far after getting those picks. Carter BMP ended up not really doing much because phase 2 have been bungling these opportunities on the objective so far. Phase 2 doesn't have any ultimates. Bermuda doesn't have any people, however, as phase 2, in my opinion, are gifted the second point once more. And let's go ahead and be real for a second, HamTornado.
Yes,
this
Boopasaurus
game has been slightly frustrating, I think, if you're viewing it because of just I feel like both teams are making simple mistakes, right? And I think this is why. This is my theory. The last couple games that phase 2 and Bermuda were in, they were expected to lose, right? They knew they were the underdog, so they were playing up to their opponent. Now that they're in a game that, honestly, either of these teams could win, it's like they're lost on the field, right? Literally throughout most of Busan, neither of these teams had 6 people, right? And now that we're seeing it here, just the cleanup kills have been a little rough. The focus fire has been a little rough.
Ultimate
usage has been very suspect in general. And these aren't actually mistakes we saw them make in their previous 2 series.
No, I mean, maybe here or there, but Bermuda didn't need to lose that last fight. It's very possible they could have worn phase 2 all the way down to, overtime. And the fact that both teams are kind of suffering from the same over-eagerness in terms of ultimate usage and maybe ultimate mistimings, doesn't necessarily bode well for either. But if nothing else, Bermuda has taken time off of phase 2's bank. They have over a minute against their opponents, which is always going to, make you feel pretty good. But that advantage can disappear in the blink of an eye if you're not rationing out your ultimates very well. Carter was holding on to that EMP for, 6 years only to use it and die immediately. So we got to look for a little bit more well-timed ultimates from Bermuda, as they are going to be running that same triple support composition that got them rolled so quickly last time.
Well, he got to use it, but Nishik had already tranced, right? So, like, it was free at that moment in time. Left getting hacked definitely doesn't help because then the sound barrier doesn't follow up. So the EMP found of value is everything that happened afterward that was suspect. So Bermuda already losing some health. Guru and Umte are already below half. Umte getting those heals, though. Guru will follow suit, I'm sure, as they're just seeing each other on at the point. Umte, though, especially on the defensive side, the Winstons need to generate Primal Rage super quickly, because if not, then this happens. They're going to get CC'd and taken down. You can actually generate this Primal Rage in 2 rotations, pretty much, from your opponent, based on how they come out of those chokes. So that's a little bit of where you want to be if you're going to be checking yourself in your right game. You definitely want to be to at least 80% by the time they get to the objective. Umte's coming back from spawn, and the EMP comes through. 4 people are hacked, but the people who need to use get them this time around, as now grab is coming from both sides, and one of them is going to find a little bit more value than the other. That's going to be phase 2, but just like before, 2 kills one way, 2 kills the other. So this is a 4v4 right now that's actually going to be a little bit better for the attacking side, as their spawns are closer, though Bermuda going to take that advantage away with Guru getting 2 kills. That double kill is going to keep Bermuda on this defense, and the problem with how phase 2 is doing this right now is they took a minute and a half to figure out exactly how they want to approach the point. Now they're down to 17 seconds and no ultimates.
Again, a really good starting advantage for phase 2. They just couldn't close it out. Umte gets back in here and Primal's niching away so that he can't heal up any of the remaining members on the point. Now Bermuda just need to rebuff phase 2 one more time.
A10 hacked and taken down. Dan's is super low as well, not even going to try to shatter in that situation. Sound barrier only hitting 2 members of phase 2, and this is the ultimate usage that we were talking about. This is not the first time Let has done that exact thing. Using sound barrier when everyone was safe from a self-destruct. You've gotta maintain control of your economy, as phase 2 are unable to do that, find any sort of advantage whatsoever. In the minute and a half, they were trying to approach the point. A10 said himself to Levin Kiwi, in an After the Contenders type of piece of content that she did. Definitely check it out. It's really good. But phase 2, they said it was the intent that we were lacking, right? We just could not make decisions at once. And right now, everyone seems to be playing like they're, in a quick play game, right? Especially with those ultimates.
I believe it was actually Ajax who dropped that sound barrier, but, we'll go back.
No, there was one on phase 2 side at the end.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but questionable ultimate usage again coming to bite phase 2, right? And Bermuda showing some really good target prioritization, not allowing for those same lapses in judgment this time around on their defense, right? What do you need to do in order to survive against an attack? Well, you need to get an ultimate faster than they do. And when you're running Ana and Winston, it's, either or between the Primal Rage and Nano. And neither of those ultimates were up when Umte dies. But phase 2, rather than, taking that window and just leaping straight through it, allowed for Bermuda to trickle back in here, and they allowed Guru to stay alive for so long, and that Zarya eventually will put out a ton of damage that he's just not going to be able to stand up against.
So let's see if they're going to be able to clean up that ultimate economy. Right now, it's more of a bear market, not a bull market. It's a selling of the ultimates, not really even trying to get anything in return. Bermuda now on the attack. This has been successful for them in the past. See, Guru on the fair, though, is going to be the one that brings them to the objective. The fair is really nice because it funnels who you need to in those tight quarters, which is going to give you your rocket barrage even sooner. And phase 2 are going to have to defend against it with just that Diva in the air. Just the only one that can interface with the Pharaoh in the air. Keeps even getting that initial kill onto Sox, who is dying first here. Phase 2 only has 5 members to potentially defend against 2.5 ticks here against Bermuda, who are playing a little bit slow themselves, as phase 2 going to get a return and kill onto Pizza Demon, but this is not over yet.
Oh no, not indeed. He's got Ultimate Web back on this Tracer here. He's so incredibly deadly and nearly has a Pulse Bomb. Resurrection comes through too. Even that pads Bermuda's man advantage even further.
Yeah, so what phase 2 was doing there, if you saw that kind of in free cam, was 4 people in 4 different spots hiding for their lives. And when you're separated like that, it doesn't matter if you're running Tracer or anyone else. When you're more, when you're thinking more about how you're going to survive rather than how you're going to take objective, you're already on the losing end of it. And Bermuda were able to separate and then search and destroy on phase 2. This is going to be Bermuda's map. Halftime's going to be important, I think, for phase 2 to come back with a little bit more moxie and a little bit more chutzpah, right? Because Bermuda really took it to them there on Volskaya.
Yeah, and you could argue that phase 2's win on Control was due to stubbornness on Bermuda's part, not swapping off of a comp that wasn't working, rather than phase 2 necessarily overcoming all the obstacles that Bermuda brought to the table. So, like you said, Boop, halftime is going to be very crucial. These two teams really need to evaluate what's working best for them and where they really need to tighten up, because Bermuda essentially, just ran the same playbook that they did against phase 2 on their first attacking round, search and destroy, right? You could see from Ultima Web's point of view, one of the most mobile heroes on the field, he's simply looking for who's the weakest, who has the lowest HP at that moment, because he can be there in a second, pump in the last little bits of damage to confirm that kill. And that's the kind of teamwork that Bermuda showed where phase 2 absolutely was lacking.
Phase 2 running around, with their heads cut off kind of a little bit at the end there. A bunch of them got taken low. Bermuda got a couple initial picks, and then what do you do in that situation? You're already in a losing fight, but how you overcome it, they just couldn't figure it out as they were so spread apart. There was not a ton of teamwork or team-oriented play there on Volskaya for phase 2.
At that point, you got to dump in some ultimates to try and even things out when you're losing that mechanical battle, when you don't have as many men on the field. But in this case, unfortunately, phase 2, it was the first defense. They had no ultimates, but that nano.
So phase 2 and Bermuda are going to be tied up 1-1 at the half. I'm really interested to see what kind of adjustments they're going to come back with when we do come back from our break, which is in 6 minutes. We'll see you soon.